Hello there, Reverend Michael McMorrow, Reverend Dr. Michael McMorrow, coming to you live from the sanctuary at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, a place where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And I'm joined this evening by my buddy and fellow minister, Reverend Stephen Rambo. He's visiting us from the Center for Spiritual Living over in Simi Valley. And he is here to help us kick off our 40 days of prosperity using the book, the Abundance book by John Randolph Price. And he's going to take us into that in a moment. But before we get started with that, we're going to start the way we start every service here at the center by taking a deep conscious breath and releasing. And in that release, just allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So the first candle we light for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. The eighth candle we light for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of spirit in their lives and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And if you will, as we have lit the healing candle, maybe thinking of those in Ukraine and any place in the world for those who are suffering, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm thankful, so grateful. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful. I trust in God. I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender. I trust in God. Okay, please join me again by taking a deep conscious breath
And in that release, we're just allowing ourselves to surrender to this moment and claim it as our own, as we recognize together that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life of the divine that is both impressing and expressing itself in, through, and as all of life, in, through, and as our life. That in this way we know that God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as each one of us, the reality of me. And so as we step into this evening, that we are open and receptive at the top to maybe relearn, to rediscover, be refamiliarized with that which we already know deep within ourselves, which is that the universe is abundant, that I am prosperous, that it is the Father's good pleasure to give us the keys to the kingdom. And so we step into this this journey in faith for the next 40 days, starting this evening with Reverend Stephen as he explores with us his own discoveries and his own journey in this regard. And so we just feel a sense of gratitude for having him here in our center this evening, for having him here, there within your homes, and with this recording, for us to continue to revisit these principles whenever we need a little lift. So we're just grateful for all of it. And so we release this word with deep gratitude and confidence, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So it's great to have you here with us this evening. It's a little bit different than our meditation time, but I think there might be a middle.
There'll be a number of meditations.
Yes.
So it actually is a meditation time.
Okay, so we're going to get our time on the cushion in tonight just the same, which is great, because I know I would miss that. I know Miriam appreciates that too, and I'm sure many of you do as well. So Reverend Stephen offered to come over and share his 40-day prosperity plan that he and Johanna developed together and have been presented to their community in Simi Valley. So we're starting 3 days back behind them. Their day one was on Sunday, and ours is going to be tomorrow. So I'll be sending you an affirmation. All this stuff Reverend Stephen and Johanna have developed, so we're deeply grateful to them. And we're using this book, the Abundance Book, and also the 40-day prosperity plan. Now, if you go to your constant contact and find the, I think Renzen has got the screenshot up there. So you'll, at the very bottom, there'll be a little bit of green where you see the bottom of the book. And if you follow all the way down the screenshot, you'll see where the link is that will take you to this document that I think you'll be referring to, Reverend Stephen will be referring to as he goes through the evening. And so that's where it's at. So you can look for that later. I would invite you to just stay with him tonight, and as he leads us through these the program and the various meditations and so forth, and that's enough out of me. So again, buddy, I'm grateful to have you here.
Great, man. Good to be here.
Always good to see you in action.
Don't be all formal. Come here, blue collar man. There you go. I love it. Love you too. All right. Well, welcome. Yes, I am so grateful to my partner, Reverend Johanna Van Gelder, who is one of the staff ministers at the Center for Spiritual Living Simi Valley, and I'm Reverend Stephen Rambo, and she has been practicing with this abundance book, John Randolph Price. It's been out for a while. I think this book was first published back in, 1987 or something like that. Many of you probably don't even know anything about 1987. That's when you had to go to the video store and actually walk up and down the aisles and pick one, bring it home.
I was there, but I don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is true for some of us. I don't know if you heard Mike, he was there but doesn't remember. So I open with that simply to say that when you read this book, it is timeless truth, but even 1987, some of it feels a little older. But it's not about the book. It's about the knowledge in the book. It's about the principles in the book. And that's where this prosperity plan statements come from. And I want to emphasize, when you go to get this link and get these statements, it has all 10 statements, but Mike will be sending them out to you. And there are 10 statements. You say 10 statements, but it's 40 days, right? Every time you get to number 10, you start over again. So you go through them 4 times, and that's the 40-day prosperity plan. This idea here is really, and it's so wonderful that this is a group of meditators that are here tonight, because this whole process is about shifting consciousness. That one phrase you wrote about a minute ago, this is from Mike just read it, so Reverend Mike just read this from the statements of principle. This was statement number 1, which says that God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me, the reality of me. We live in a very interesting culture, supposedly the most prosperous nation on the earth, in a very prosperous and abundant universe. Yet, everywhere we go, subliminal messages of lack are all around us. In fact, if you think about it, one of the challenges we've had in our country of late is the recognition of the inequity of the distribution of wealth, the quote-unquote 1%ers. That a man could have so many billions of dollars, and it's great that he gets to fly out in space, all 5 of them. But it's amazing that that much money is in one person's pocket. That collection of money is as much a demonstration of the belief in lack, in my perspective, as a person who constantly looks in their wallet and bemoans the fact that they don't feel like they have enough money in it. One is looking for it, and the other is afraid they're not going to have enough of it, therefore they must store it up. Now, this is happening way down at the subconscious level. And we know there are no boundaries. Let me prove that to you right here, right now. I want you, from your screen, to look at my face. First, I have to do something because I'm not as familiar with this place as I am at my own. Okay, cool, got it. Now, look right at my face. And as you look at my face, you can see the flowers in front of me, the ever-present Apple logo below me, the artwork behind me, candles of the different faiths while you're still looking at my face. We make up the boundaries, but the boundaries don't actually exist. We see and are taking in messages all the time, and they land in our body. This 40 days is not a class, it's not a regimen, it's an addition to your spiritual practice that is helping us to remember there is only one source. One source. That source is not my job, it's not my money, it's not my bank account, my stock market, my IRAs, my neighbor. It's one source that uses all of those vehicles for dissemination of its prosperous and abundant universe. This practice is here to help us do that. Now, John Randolph Price, in his lovely book here, asks some wonderful questions. He says, do you have an aversion to wealth? Do you object to being rich? Does the word abundance bother you? If you have the slightest reservation about any of these, his advice is to check your belief in God. I'll be very frank with you. There are times when a person drives past me with a Mercedes-Benz and I get a little bit of a binge. That's my problem with wealth. I have an opinion about that. This practice is helping me to understand that the infinite abundance of the universe is individualized as me. It is the reality of me. And in order to really get that in the body, it's really important to get it in our brain first and let it trickle down. What is our belief? What is your belief about this thing called God? We grew up, many of us, in different faiths that had well, you think about it for yourself. I want you to take a moment and think about, and do you have active chat in your YouTube?
Yep.
Okay. In your chat, share some concepts about what is your definition of God. What do you think of God? Is it the sky daddy? Is it an infinite, is it nature, the universe? I have a friend who thinks that their God is the ocean, a power greater than themselves. I know a guy who thought the doorknob was a God. Why? Because the doorknob was a threshold to passing through to something greater. So it was a way to move forward. However that is, whatever is your contemplation and understanding of God is important to get into your system and then translate that, whatever that is, into our system of belief, the science of mind, which says there is one life, that life is God, that life is my life and your life now. And if the word God bothers you, change the word. I like friend, beloved, infinite spirit, buddy, hey you, whatever it is that allows you. My favorite actually is it. I think that was Dr. Holmes' favorite. He liked to call it the thing itself. However you find that definition, the important thing of this prosperity program is, and it just hit me here to see it, as I said, looked down and saw the words, it's so that you can have a prosperous relationship with this presence that is you, that is expression as you. We are that thing that allows the universe to ask the questions of itself. We're the ones that get to ask what, if, and why for, and how come, and that's the question that God is asking through us. We are that emanated spirit. So what we're going to do over the next 40 days is really drill down into that total understanding of what is God all about. Now there also, we go an hour. Yes, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Take his time.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do it and respect people's times because, there's an abundance of shows to binge on when you finish with this. Golly, Netflix, Hulu, there's right there. This is what we're gonna do. I want you to think about the abundance in your life, how much abundance there is in your life. Because it's not just about dollar bills, it's about ideas, concepts, creativity, places to go eat. I'm always amazed in the city of Los Angeles. You drive down Chatsworth, all the different businesses. How do all those businesses stay in business? There's storefronts everywhere because it's an abundant universe we're in. So I want to ask you some questions. It's in the book, if you have the book, but you don't need to have the book. I'll remind you too, you don't need to have the book. Every day, starting tomorrow, you will receive an email, and it will have a graphic that has that day's statement in it, and it'll have a little prompt on what you might do to help you understand that statement. And we're only asking you to spend 15 minutes, a 15-minute investment in yourself to have not more riches, more money or anything. No, to have a more rich relationship with the divine presence, to see it as you, to feel that oneness that the great Wayshower told us about. I and the Father are one. Wouldn't it be nice to not just think about it, but to just know it, to hold that in your spirit all the time? So that's the way it works. And this explains how the data thing works. You'll get an email, but you read the statement, spend 15 minutes contemplating it, thinking around it, writing down some insights about it, and to help spark your insights in your journaling, there'll be a prompt that helps you to go a little bit deeper into that. And I suggest you try to do it in the morning, because if you miss the morning, then you have the afternoon or the evening to get it done. Right? If you say, I'm going to do it at night, and you miss it, you missed it for the day. So try to put it in, and also try to put it in your schedule of activities. Every day you wake up, you probably put your shoes on before you go out the house. Maybe that's the place. Every morning you wake up, a lot of you might go straight for some coffee. If you know you're going to go to coffee, maybe you put it in that space between there. Plug it into a normal space of your routine, not a clock, not a time on your clock. You following me here? Put it into your routine. For me, my meditative practice happens before my feet hit the floor. Because once my feet hit the floor, life starts rolling. But if I can do all that, so my bed is filled with stuff next to the side of it, so I can get all that stuff done. If I can get that done then, the day starts out really great. Okay, so put it into your schedule of activities, not on time or on your clock. So that's my suggestion. So that's how it's going to work for you. It's super simple, and it's something that we're asking you to do every single day. Now that may seem crazy, but after 40 days, you rehabit yourself. You change your thinking around something. Dr. Holmes says 21 days. So let's say between 21 and 40 days. But we're going to double down on it and do 40 days to make sure that you really shift your perspective on this, of 40 and 40, and you're going to be feeling a lot better about your relationship with the divine as a result of that. Okay? So that's how it works. So I'd like for you to settle into your personal meditative contemplation station, wherever that might be. I'm going to ask you some questions. They're easy, yes, no questions. Let the first answer come up, and that's the one, okay? So here we go. Is my primary interest in realizing the presence of God, or is my primary interest in meeting a financial problem? Am I still concentrating on the effect, money, or am I focusing on cause, spirit? Am I willing to take my stand now and prove God once and for all as my all-sufficiency? Have I devoted the necessary time? Have I devoted the necessary time to meditating on the Spirit within as the source of my prosperity? Am I conscious of the inner presence as my abundance? Do I have the understanding that my consciousness of the presence is my supply? Am I demonstrating to myself, am I demonstrating money? Or do I develop a greater consciousness of abundance? Am I trying to demonstrate money or develop a greater consciousness of abundance? Have I accepted the truth that the living presence within me is my all-sufficiency, and that the activity of this infinite mind is meeting my every need at this moment? Have I identified myself with my all-sufficient self so that I can say with great conviction, I am abundance? Knowing that my consciousness of the indwelling presence is my supply, can I now affirm and believe the truth that I have abundance? Can I see myself fulfilled and enjoying lavish abundance in my life, in my affairs? Have I truly expressed a feeling of love for all the visions of wholeness and completeness that I see in my visualizations? Do I intuitively feel that Spirit has manifested as my all-sufficiency, even though the results may still be invisible? Have I spoken the word that it is done? Have I totally surrendered all my needs, all my desires, all my fears, all my concerns to the presence within? Have I expressed a deep sense of gratitude to the Spirit within before my good comes forth into visible manifestation? Is my heart overflowing with thankfulness and joy the majority of my waking hours? Am I listening to the voice within for guidance and instruction regarding any action I am to take in the outer world? Have I totally forgiven everyone and everything in my consciousness? Am I practicing unconditional love with everyone in my life? Do I desire for everyone else that which I desire for myself? Am I a joyful giver? Do I freely share money on a regular basis, knowing that as I give, so shall I receive? Have I done all I can do to improve my relationship with my children, with my friends, with my family? In my personal relationship with my mate or love partner, do I care more about his or her feelings and welfare than I do my own? Am I involved in a meaningful activity for creative self-expression? Am I working on my life plan to see my life as whole and complete in every area of my life? The more of those questions you answered with a yes, the richer you are in mind, and the richer you are in manifestation. Now, near the end of this 40-day period, we're going to put those questions back out, let you send them out to you so you can ask those questions again and see how many yeses come up for you as you move through this process. So as I said, the plan is to look at how we can see more abundance and prosperity in our life. We're using money as the vehicle to help us move in that direction. So I want to ask you, I should have asked you earlier to pull one out. If you have any money, a dollar bill, I like to use a $10 bill because it just feels more fun. These new ones are very colorful. I ask you to pull that dollar bill out. I personally like to focus this energy on the side that says, "In God we trust." In fact, I even take my money and I fold it that way so that "In God we trust" is always on the outside. If I treat my money nice, my money treats me nice. I believe in that. So it's always very ordered, and it's also sequential when I put it in my wallet. But I want you to hold this dollar bill in front of you. And think about these concepts, because you see, what we're doing is we're understanding that if we want to have a consciousness of abundance, we must have that first before we can have the actual physical manifestation of the abundance. It doesn't come the other way around. Wealth is the result of consciousness, not the cause of it. So sometimes these thoughts that I was sharing earlier speak so loudly to us that we can't hear ourselves think, we can't hear ourselves feel, we can't access the abundance that is allowed to be within us. All of our good is always coming our way, but we must have an objective examination of the private side of that hidden world that we keep within us, that keeps the light on the old patterns of our thought, our old patterns of fear, our old patterns of doubt, and blocking our acceptance of our natural state of being, which is wealth, prosperity, abundance, infinite supply. So we're going to allow this money to talk to us for a minute. There's a lot of energy in money. It's passed through many hands. It's congealed energy. It's flat. It's thin. You put it on a table at Starbucks, and it pops up into a coffee cup and a bacon Gouda sandwich. So it's incredibly powerful stuff. There's a lot of energy. It's passed through a lot of consciousness. It's a seat of understanding of race thought. So we're going to see what this traveling wise piece of paper has to say to us. So any denomination, because and I want this to represent all the money that you've ever had. And also to understand that visible money is directly attached in substance to your consciousness of money. And since this is in your consciousness, it should be able to tell you something about yourself. So for this exercise, sit up very straight, but also get relaxed. Lower your shoulders. Close your eyes for just a moment. Let go of every passing thought. Let go of all concerns. Silently say to yourself, I am open. I'm receptive to hear. I'm receptive to understand what you, dear dollar bill, have to tell me. Now, hold your dollar bill in your hand and focus on it very intently. Just stare at that bill you're holding in your hand. think it over. Allow yourself to really dive into it. Now, I'm going to say some things to help you open the channels of communication between this money and yourself. I'm going to give you some questions to ask your money. And you'll silently ask this question and listen for the immediate response. And if you have something with you that you can write on, it'd be great to be able to write down these responses, but don't worry if you don't. It will hold in your mind because it's already there. We're accessing something that's already there. You can go back over your written answers later and go into greater depth on it, but right now the important thing is to listen to what the money has to say and to listen to the immediate response. Don't overthink this. First thing that comes to your mind, that's the answer. That's what's coming from the deepest place of consciousness. That's the reaction thought. That's the first thought that we want to work on. And then we're going to, through this practice, change it to a God thought, which is the second thought, the conscious thought that is aligned with spirit. But for now, we're going to practice listening to what this money says and listen for the immediate stop. And don't stop to analyze, evaluate what you hear. Write down your immediate response or hold that immediate response in your head. If you're ready, here's the first bill that you're going to silently ask that bill that you're holding. The first question that you're going to ask that bill you're holding in your hand. You're looking right at it. It's saying, come on, ask me, ask me. And it says, how would you describe my attitude toward you? How would you describe my attitude, money? What is my attitude toward you? Now listen. What does it tell you? For the second question, I want you to ask the bill in your hand. Get reconnected with it. Right at it. Do I fear you? And if so, why? Do I fear you? Why? Listen. What is it telling you? Third question. Have I ever abused you? Have I ever abused you? And if so, how? Listen. It has an answer. Have I ever abused you? How? Now for this next question, after we've asked this question, you will see a number flash in your mind. A number will flash on the screen of your mind, and that is the number you want to record on your paper. That's the number you want to hold in your consciousness. That's the number you want to hold on to. And here is the question. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 the highest, how would you measure my integrity as it specifically relates to money? Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you measure my integrity as it specifically relates to money? You see a number. Write it down. Remember the number. The fifth question. You're looking at the money. You're connecting with it. All the places it's been. picking up all this wisdom so he can share with you in this relationship. The question is, do you feel, money? Do you feel that I am responsible? That I am a responsible person regarding you? Do you feel that I am a responsible person regarding money? For the sixth question, it's an open-ended question so that your money can answer the questions that we haven't even thought of asking this evening. After this question, I'm going to ask you to listen and write for a few minutes, maybe go back over your other responses if you had the chance to write them down. And this is the sixth question. You're looking again at the money, reestablishing that connection. What other information do you have for me regarding my feelings and attitudes toward you, money? What other information do you have for me regarding my feelings and my attitudes toward money? So I want you to spend a couple of minutes just looking at your responses. Go back over your words if you were able to write things down. If you are not writing things down, go back over the things that came to your mind as we asked those questions. Because what that has done is it's given you an inside view of some of your hidden feelings around money. So I'm going to give you a minute and a half to just kind of do that with yourself. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Again, you have this to work with. This is your own private practice. It's a self-directed course, so there's just some guidance to get you started with it. Mike, what are you feeling? Are you catching? What was your number?
I was kind of still pondering that one. I tell you what I got. The one hit that I got
Yeah.
was I had a picture of myself as a kid, hustling.
Oh.
Always hustling for money. And I never had enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Started with, I used to use a push mower.
This
Cutting
idea.
grass, right? And then a paper route for $20 for a month. Right?
Yeah.
Like some of the crazy things, like the amount of effort and how little money. And then what I heard was money telling me that I didn't show it enough respect. Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to work with because I've had similar experiences with it, and I don't know if this is yours, but what it tells me is I have not given myself enough respect. If money is an experience of the presence of the divine, showing substance supply if it's all God and I don't respect the money and I'm also part of God? I'm not respecting myself. And so that's like, whoa,
Right.
to give myself more love. And that's another outside of this process.
And tying to that, I respect other people's money.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I had my business, right, keeping track of everybody else's money, right,
That's like,
the church's money,
yeah, in some ways that's giving our power away.
yeah.
So that's powerful. Hey, I know you.
Heal me, Reverend Stephen, heal me.
Hands on, you're done. That's one of my teachers. I don't know if you heard this one in your journey of training. That ministry is a license to grow up in public.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly.
Yeah. All of you at home, this is your regular Wednesday meditation. So we're going to do one, but before that, I just want you to kind of just maybe stretch wherever you are, or orient yourself to where you are. Just look around your space and get grounded in the space that you're in. There's so much power in just knowing. I mean, you may think you know where you are. You're at your house, but we take so many things for granted. When was the last time you look out your windows, look at your artwork, look at the door in, the door out, the ceilings, the cobwebs in the corner. Sorry if I'm looking in your house and you have cobwebs. Maybe you don't. I'm just showing my house has cobwebs. Oh, goodness. You know, but whatever it is, just kind of stretch around and just so we can get ready because we're going to do a closing meditation here to finish out our evening. And again, you're going to get everything you need in your email. It's not a big deal. It's read a statement, think about the statement, write some thoughts down about the statement, and do it every day for 40 days. And something will shift for you. If you're here tonight, you are a religious scientist. That means you experiment with the bonding of life. That's religion, to bond things, right? So we are going to do an experiment and bond with this idea of the divine. And in return, we are going to get a deeper relationship to the substance and supply of the universe as already being ours. Whew. That's some good stuff. Yeah. So if you're down for that, get excited about what's going to come in your mailbox in the morning. So we're going to close out with this workshop, this evening of time with meditation. So I invite you to go back into a really comfortable, relaxed space. Mike's going to join me as we do this. Taking a nice deep breath. Close your eyes if you like. And hear these words. The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God's self knows only lavish abundance. Spirit of God, feel it. Within me, source. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. The consciousness of infinite supply is endless, limitless, boundless, measureless.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There's no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine purpose at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine purpose at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express, act as active in your world. The creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. Continually radiating through me. This is the creative power of mind that can do all things and is doing all things right now.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There's no reality to insufficiency. There's no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine purpose at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world. The very creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is the divine substance of all form. Substance. Inexhaustible. There is always plenty of substance. Therefore, there will always be plenty of everything you could possibly desire.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine purpose at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world. The very creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is the divine substance of all form. This substance is my supply. Substance is the creative energy of God mind. Therefore, your supply comes forth from the very mind of God within you. Dwell on the loving givingness of the Spirit of God right where you are, within you, now. Feel it.
The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. Lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life, is constantly at work in my affairs. Sense that divine presence at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world. The very creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is the divine substance of all form. This substance is my supply. My supply flows forth in streams of plenty. Think about it. Niagara Falls could not hold a candle to this outpouring. See the torrent of creating energy radiating from you and going before you to manifest as fulfillment of every desire. Sit quietly in the flow and feel that radiation. Feel it.
Take a breath with me and release. The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in the infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine purpose at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world. The very creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is the divine substance of all form. This substance is my supply. This substance flows forth in streams of plenty. I am rich in consciousness. Think about it. I am rich in consciousness. You are now conscious of the radiant abundance saturating your very being, and you feel its richness. You feel rich. You are now one with the infinite abundance of the universe. You are that abundance in perfect expression, and you know it.
You know it. The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There's no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. And the activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. Sense that divine presence at work. Feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in your world. The very creative thought energy of that infinite mind of prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is the divine substance of all form. This substance is my supply. My supply flows forth in streams of plenty. I am rich in consciousness. I am rich in manifestation. You now intuitively believe and know that the problem of supply has been solved because you are feeling nature has responded to the truth of this meditation. Even before supply becomes visible, you know you have it. It is yours. I am rich in manifestation. Feel it. Feel it. Feel it.
So know these words as your own. The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. The activity of that knowingness is constantly at work in my life and my affairs. I sense that divine purpose at work, feel the very will of God, the cosmic urge to express as active in my world. The creative thought energy of that mind of infinite prosperity continually radiates in and through me. This is divine substance in all form. This substance is my supply. My supply flows forth in streams of plenty. I am rich in consciousness. I am rich in consciousness. I am rich in manifestation. My spirit is now appearing as my all-sufficiency. My spirit is now appearing as my all-sufficiency. Return now to Source with a heart of overflowing gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Take a nice deep breath. The Spirit of God within me is the source of my supply. My God self knows only lavish abundance. There is no reality to insufficiency. There is no duality in that infinite mind within you. It knows only all sufficiency. It knows only abundance. It knows only surplus. The consciousness of infinite supply is endless, limitless, boundless, measureless. And it is so, and it is done, and so it is. Take a nice deep breath. If you had your eyes closed, open your eyes now. And thank you for spending some time with us. And Mike, thank you for inviting me to share this with your community. I really enjoyed it.
It was really great. Wasn't it great? Give them some love in the chat there, will you?
Yeah. All right.
And you got to take this on the road. This is good stuff.
I just did.
All right. So, and of course, this is recorded on our YouTube channel, so you can tell
good.
your folks about that, and you can tell your folks about that. If you want to get in on this first day tomorrow, send me an email when we're finished here, and I'll check my email in the morning before I send it out, and I'll get you included. And feel free about sharing it with friends or loved ones or anyone who you feel could use a lift in their spiritual practice, to get a little bit of a boost. And I know that you'll find it helpful. So, with that, I want to say thank you for being here. And I hope that you have a as Reverend Stephen said, he's got it all lined out. All you got to do is just follow. There's a beautiful affirmation and a smidgen of direction after just sitting still for a few moments and writing down your thoughts. You'll find it's a very rich practice. And so I invite you to join Granada Hills, Simi Valley, and the Center for Spiritual Living out in Las Vegas with Reverend Cheryl Bell and Stacy Hilton. They're also doing this themselves. And so we're excited.
Yeah,
Nice
it's
work.
great. It's fun work.
Tell Rev Johanna you guys did a nice job.
I will pass along to her.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's what we live to do. It's I mean it's a gorgeous activity.
So since while we have you here,
yeah.
why don't we get you to do a closing treatment for us?
Oh, absolutely.
And so you can find Reverend Stephen over at Simi Valley, but don't go there until you've come here.
That's right. That's right.
But if you're out there in that area, or you live like over in Chatsworth and you're just over the hill there in Santa Susana Pass, they have a beautiful center over on Erringer Drive. They've been there forever, and they have a good time over there. And of course, you see Reverend Stephen brings it. So
Well, thank you. You know, one of the things I like to tell people, friends of mine, when I first started this teaching, I would go to North Hollywood at 8 in the morning, then I'd drive down to Founders at 10, and sometimes I would try to catch another church if I could.
Yeah.
And it's, you go to 3 churches? And I said, yeah, how many football games are you going to watch today?
yeah.
So you can come here, have the live service with Mike, and then go home and watch us on Facebook, YouTube, or and follow
Well,
it
can
up
you
like that.
bet on our church service?
Sure you can. Yeah, we pass the basket every time.
All right, praise God, man.
Absolutely. I invite you to, there is, I personally believe there's a lot of vibration in words, and the right word, how's that, Mark Twain? The difference in the right word and the wrong word is like the difference between a lightning bug and a lightning bolt. When you find the right word, it resonates. And that vibrational resonation sends out that energy into the universe, which then vibrates into form. And we know with microscopic looking that everything is vibrating. So what I'm leading up to is I want you in your own home to think about what it is you want your treatment to impact in your life. If your life is just so awesome and gratitude is what you want, you've done the Meister Eckhart prayer. The prayer of saying thank you is the greatest prayer you can have according to Meister Eckhart. If there's something else happening in your life and you want to bring more truth, you want to reveal the wholeness in your life, speak that word right now into your room out loud. I'm going to wait a beat and then I'll begin the prayer. And for me that word is peace. So this is what I know. The divine presence of infinite supply, source, and abundance. It is forever giving of itself into this eternal now moment, is fully present in this moment in my consciousness, and I am grateful to be the conduit for speaking this truth for all those that are here with us in this moment, all those that are in the thoughts and spirit of our body. And so what I know is that this loving divine presence is tuned in as we are tuned in. There is no separation, no distance between me and that thing that is. So the word that I speak does not return unto me void, but goes out and becomes the thing whereof I speak it to. And so right now, in this moment, I am knowing divine harmony for all persons everywhere. I'm knowing that there is right action taking place, that there is the evidence of abundance and prosperity flowing forth, that ideas that are sitting in the fertile field of the conscious mind are right now percolating out into the visible physical world as that thing which has been thought of in seed. It is becoming the plant and form through this word spoken. We are blessing this community of Granada Hills Center for Spiritual Living. We're blessing the Simi Valley community of spiritual living. We're blessing the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living. We're blessing all persons all over the planet right now with this word, knowing that in this very moment, there is that cosmic urge pushing them to express something greater than they've ever expressed before. And for this power of the movement of vibrational energy, I say, thank you, Mother, Father, God. Thank you, Divine Presence. Thank you, Infinite Spirit, for this practice of of knowing the truth, speaking that truth, and releasing it into a law that always says, yes, my beloved, it is you in whom I am well pleased. Let me give you the gift now, here, and so it is. All right, we'll see you next Wednesday. Mike will be back. More meditation, yes?
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Woo! Round of applause. A round of applause.